this was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it, but this is locker room talk.
Well, that was Donald Trump last night addressing the massive backlash stirred up by the now infamous videotape. But was it enough to move him forward, and can he be as competitive, particularly when it comes to female voters? Joining me now, Heather Higgins, Shelby Holliday, and Jillian Melcher. Heather, let me start with you. Initially, he answered, then he tried to pivot. The moderators kind of brought him back. But the topic didn't linger as long as a lot of people thought it would. So do you think he effectively put it to bed?
Well, the topic lingered for the first third of an hour-and-a-half debate.
I feel like it was going to be the only thing we heard then.
The media may have wanted it to be the only thing we heard, but no, it lingered for a long time. What was interesting is that Paul Ryan had a rally. There were a lot of women at the rally who were unhappy with him for having backed away from Trump. And there's no polling yet that's on this, but the sense that I've been getting is that a lot of women looked at this and said, yeah, tell us something new about Donald Trump. This was what we expected, and we weren't picking him because he was a gentleman statesman, but because he actually treats all Americans the same. He's an equal opportunity insulter, right? As we've talked about before, whether it's low-energy Jeb or Marco, who's little, or Lion Ted Cruz. He doesn't support you because you're black or you're gay or you're a woman. He supports you because you're an American and he thinks you deserve better. And that's a very different MO than somebody who's divisive and then says, oh, but let's all be standing together, which is so insincere.
Well, then here's the thing, though, Jillian. Donald Trump was already struggling with women voters in the polls before this, right? And for me, it's not the P word, it was the G word, the grab, that I think that he has to overcome. I don't know if he did. In your mind, do you think that the apology was enough? Was he contrite enough for you?
No, he wasn't. To be honest, here's what bothers me about this. It's not just that this is reaffirming what we already knew about his character. It's that for a long time, the left has played identity politics with women. I believe all issues are women's issues. I believe that conservatives do a better job of addressing that as a whole. I think, though, what Trump has done that has been so destructive is making it easy to say that there's a war on women. Because when you have somebody going out there talking about doing what he did, it's not just locker room banter. It's not just dirty jokes. It's intent. And that makes it really hard to defend.
Shelby?
And you were right. He was already losing women. So the last thing he needed to do was push women away. People really wanted to see him apologize, talk about his family, talk about Melania. He kind of just said, I already apologized, let's get on with the show. And what I thought he needed to do from a policy perspective was lay out why he is the best presidential candidate for women in terms of issues.
But to Jillian's point, though, aren't all issues women's issues anyway?
Well, he's made a big point of sending Ivanka on the trail, and at the convention he talked about why he'd be great for women. He always says, I'm a better candidate for women than Hillary. He didn't say any of that last night. He didn't bring any of those concerned women back in, and my Facebook feed was full of people who are still really angry. Not that that's the be-all, end-all, but people are still really angry.
Sure.
I want to disagree with that, because he talked about terrorism, national security. That's a woman's issue.
But
he talked about Obamacare.
In contrast with ISIS, like, this is what I said, this is what ISIS did. Clearly I'm better. I mean,
he also brought up Bill Clinton.
No, it's not a weird juxtaposition, because he was saying in context, you've got a woman, Hillary, who is trying to make these words be equivalent to actual sexual assault, and who is trying to elevate this as though it's the most important. Words from 11 years ago are supposed to be as important as the fact that you've got national security issues, you've got Obamacare falling apart. I think a lot of women look at this and go, it's disgusting. It's not to be approved in any way, shape, or form. But it doesn't make a war on women. It doesn't mean that he treats women badly or differently in the workplace. For example, look at Ivanka, look at Kellyanne, whom he put on running his campaign without ever mentioning that she was a woman.
Look also at how Miss Universe, look also at how he treated his own two previous wives.
Miss Universe was fair game. She was out in the public square just the way Lying Ted Cruz and Little Marco and Jeb Bush were.
You can
and she got treated the same way.
I don't think that you can say
she does not get special treatment just because she's Miss Universe.
Sure, but I don't think that this is a man who has a history of being respectful to women, and I think that's a big problem, particularly when you add it up with all of the other constituencies that he's offended.
I saw before this, so I've seen videos and I've seen testimonials from women who've worked for Donald Trump. I never heard any of them. They all said he did a great thing for me. I've seen other former contestants of these beauty pageants who said, you know, I ran into a bumpy period in life, and Donald Trump was the only person there for me. So he's had the testimonials, and I know that the campaign has worked to get those out there. I guess the question, though, the apology, because no one defends what was said, but was the apology in of itself enough that maybe it can start to get in the rearview mirror here a little bit?
I think that's hard to tell. We haven't seen any polling or real data. I think it takes a few days for people to kind of digest this and see what sinks in. But for every action, every testimony he has, he also has comments he made about Heidi Cruz and Megyn Kelly and Carly Fiorina. And if women weren't already offended by those, they were likely offended by the G word, the P word, very married, all of these words in that video.
Like my Twitter feed, most of the women said that they thought, while those were offensive comments, how there's so many issues out there, and America is at such an important crossroads that it's a binary choice, and that they would overlook this or forgive Donald Trump because the stakes are so high.
That is exactly right. Women are looking at this and saying, not somebody I want to invite into my house for dinner, but better role model for my kids than Hillary, and certainly somebody who's going to come out on the issues in a place where I care about them, whether it's the Supreme Court justice.
But they're not.
The health care.
Neither is a role model.
Hillary was beating Trump by 20
We'll know more
points.
as the days go on. Ladies, I wish we could extend this, but they've been giving me the rap signal for a while. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Crude oil soaring today, 3%, helping the overall market. Although, why was it up? Geopolitical tensions. Good for your portfolio, not so good for the country. My market commentary is next.